This is idli, one of South India's most favorite foods. It's made from fermented rice and lentils. It's tasty, it's easy to digest, and of course, very easy to make. In this video, I'm going to start with the basics, the type of rice and lentils to use, the utensils you will need, fermentation basics, what can go wrong, and since you can't have idli on its own, so I will also be showing you a very simple chutney recipe. There'll be two parts to making this recipe. One is to make the batter and ferment it, and then it's the cooking that happens the next day. So let's get started. There are 4 ingredients you will need to get idli right. First is parboiled rice. So there's a specific variety in the market known as idli rice. No matter where you stay in the world, if you have an Indian store nearby, you will find this rice there. Or look for rice that looks like the ones that I'm showing. These are usually short grained and white. Parboiled rice means the raw rice kernels have been partially boiled in its husk before milling. This process changes the starch structure and makes the rice stronger during fermentation and steaming, which is why it works best for idli. Don't use any other varieties like basmati rice, brown rice, fully polished raw white rice, or sticky or glutinous rice. You will be terribly disappointed with the results. Second ingredient is split or whole urad dal. These are black grams with the outer shells removed, which is why they don't appear black anymore. Urad dal will give softness and structure to the idli. It also is naturally rich in protein and makes the idli more filling. Then you will also need fenugreek seeds. Only a small amount is needed here. They support fermentation and add a subtle depth of flavor. Finally, you will also need cooked rice. A small amount is enough, and this acts as a natural starter for fermentation and improves the texture of the final idli that you will be steaming. Once you have all the right ingredients, the next step is to make the batter. Take a large bowl and add 4 cups of idli rice to it. And if you want to start small, you can just halve the amounts that I'm showing. Now add 1.5 cups of split urad dal. You can also use whole urad dal, but without the skin for this recipe. Whether you use split or whole urad dal, the ratio will remain the same. We are measuring here by volume. First, we need to wash the rice and lentils together. So add plenty of water to the bowl and gently rub the grains between your fingers. This helps remove any dust or surface impurities. One thorough wash is enough. We don't want to overwash and remove too much of the natural starch, as that starch also supports fermentation and getting a nice texture. Once the washing is done, drain the water completely. Now add enough fresh water to fully submerge the rice and lentils. We will allow this to soak for a minimum of 2 hours and a maximum of 4 hours. If you soak for too long, then the water starts to smell sour and may even give a slimy paste when you grind it. Now take a small cup or bowl and add 1.5 teaspoons of fenugreek seeds to it. Pour in about half a cup of water at room temperature and allow them to soak separately. So we have soaked everything. We'll set it aside for around 2 hours at least. For fermenting the batter, you will also need about 2 cups of cooked white rice. So while the rice and lentils are soaking, and if you do not have leftover rice, you can cook the rice separately and allow it to cool completely. Now after around 2 hours, let's get back to the task. So I'm going to wash the rice and dal once more and drain the soaking water completely. Now add approximately 1 liter of fresh water to the bowl, or just enough to cover the contents in the bowl. This is an approximate amount of water that is added so that you can control the consistency while grinding the batter, and this is very important. And against all common sense, this method has always worked for me instead of doing or taking the actual measurements. Now where most people go wrong while grinding rice and lentils is with the water. It can never be exact. It depends on the type of rice, the age of the rice, the lentils, if it is split or whole, and even for how long they were soaked. So the simple method that I'm showing will always work. Scoop the rice and dal using a measuring cup along with the water that naturally fills into it. Do not press it down because that will push the water out and disturb the ratio. Add this directly to the blender jar. Now this is a 750 ml of jar, so I'm adding around 2 cups of this mixture per batch. Now add the soaked fenugreek seeds along with the water they were soaked in. Do not drain that water. Close the lid and grind it. If the water ratio is correct, it should grind smoothly with very little assistance. usually under 2 minutes. While grinding, if you feel that the batter is too thick or if it is not moving freely, then add water very slowly, but very tiny amount of literally 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time. You should see the content start to move smoothly while still remaining thick. This batter should flow, but it should not be runny. Once the grinding is completed, pour this into a large steel or glass container. This will be the vessel in which the fermentation takes place. So make sure the bowl is large enough to hold at least twice the volume of the batter you're pouring into it. During fermentation, the batter will rise significantly, so you need enough space to prevent it from overflowing and dirtying your kitchen counter. We need to grind the rest of the rice and lentils in batches, so I will repeat the same process again by adding the lentils and rice mix to the blender jar and the water that gets added along with each scoop. Add the cooked rice, 2 cups of it, or as much as your blender jar can fit in at one time. Blend again, and the texture we are aiming for here is fine coarse. It must not become smooth like a body cream, and it should not also be very grainy. It should feel like fine white sand between your fingers. In the last batch, I had this much water remaining, almost 1 cup of it in the bowl, which can be discarded. This paste is what we call as batter, and we have to mix it thoroughly now. Use a large spatula and mix very nicely. Raise and drop the batter in the bowl, and a thorough mixing is very important here. This ensures that the fenugreek and cooked rice that we had blended separately is spread out evenly. Now cover the pot with a lid and let it sit overnight or for at least 8 to 12 hours to ferment. Room temperature plays a big role in fermentation. In tropical climates, batter will ferment quickly, especially in summer. During monsoon or mild winter, it may take a little longer. There's no fixed timing here, so watch the batter and not the clock. This is true for almost anything you ferment. If you live in colder climates and the room temperature is below 20 degrees Celsius, then fermentation slows down significantly. In that case, place the pot with the batter inside an oven with just the light on. The bulb provides gentle warmth. You can also wrap the container in a thick towel and keep it in a warm, draft-free spot, not next to an open window. If it's too cold, it will not rise, and if it's too hot, it will over ferment. So 12 hours have passed now, and you can see how beautifully it has risen. All the carbon dioxide produced during fermentation is trapped inside the batter. That's why it looks so light and fluffy. Now take a large spatula and gently mix the batter. And as you stir, you will release some of those trapped gases. And you will notice that the batter settles back slightly, and this is exactly what a well-fermented batter should look like. The batter can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 3 or 4 days, and sometimes even longer. As it sits, it will continue to ferment slowly, so the flavor will become slightly more sour over time. If you'd like to store it for longer, you can portion the batter into Ziploc bags or airtight containers and freeze it for up to 2 or 3 weeks. When you are ready to use it, thaw it in the refrigerator overnight or at room temperature until it's fully defrosted, and give it a gentle stir before using it. One more tip is that when the fermentation is done, add a pinch of salt to the batter and mix it thoroughly. This improves the flavor, and it also slows down the microbial activity, preventing the batter from turning sour over time. So that was making the batter part, and now we will make warm idlis with it. Remember, this is done only after the fermentation is complete. To make idli, you will need some form that holds the batter together, and these stainless steel plates with forms like this, they work the best. It's sold as idli stand, and these days you get steaming pots that have these as one of the plates. So they serve as a multi-purpose utensil. You will never get bored of this utensil, and you will find many uses of it. So it's worth investing. First, fill the idli pot with about 1 inch of water and bring it to a gentle boil. And while the water is heating, we'll prepare the idli molds. Before adding the batter, lightly grease each mold. Just a drop of oil is enough. Spread it evenly over the surface. This prevents the idli from sticking, and it also helps them release easily once the steaming is done. Now spoon the batter into each mold like this, just enough to fill it. Once the water has come to a boil in the steaming pot, carefully place the idli stand inside. Make sure that the molds do not touch the water. The idli should cook in steam and not come in direct contact with water. Cover the pot with a lid and allow it to steam undisturbed. Here's when your curiosity needs to wait for around 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes, carefully open the lid and take a sharp knife or a toothpick and insert it right through the center of an idli. Pull the knife out and check, and it should come out clean with no wet batter sticking to it. As you make idlis again and again, start checking after 8 minutes, 9 or even 10. Over time, you will understand your equipment and also know the exact time that it takes. Once they are done, carefully lift the idli stand out of the steamer. Don't leave it sitting inside it, hoping that it will stay warm. Continued steaming will actually make the idlis firmer than they should be. Let the steam settle for about a minute, and as the surface temperature drops slightly, the idlis will firm up just enough to release it easily. Now take a spoon and gently scoop them out from the side. This helps prevent them from breaking or losing the shape. For an even smoother release, you can dip the spoon in a bowl of water before scooping and make sure that the spoon isn't too thick. A thinner edge will work better. If you let the idlis cool down completely, they become even more easier to remove. But of course, they're meant to be enjoyed warm. So this is idli in its most traditional form, plain and simple, enjoyed with sambar and chutney. I've already shown how you can make sambar in my other video, and don't worry, I will show you a simple chutney recipe at the end of this video. You will find the link to the sambar video in the description below. But once you understand the base, you can start getting more creative and make it more nutritious. In this part, I will show you how you can infuse your idli with vegetables. So today I'm going to use finely grated carrots and beetroot to make this more interesting. Take about 1 cup of fermented batter in a separate bowl and add 1 heaped tablespoon of finely grated carrots. I will do the same with grated beetroot and mix it thoroughly. These are raw and uncooked beetroots. The batter should stay light and not heavy. Mix well until it's evenly distributed. You can see how bright and colorful it already looks. Lightly grease the idli molds now and spoon the batter in. And if you like, you can sprinkle a few extra carrots or some fresh coriander leaves on the top for a fine finish. Steam for about 10 minutes, and when done, open the lid and check as usual. These are done now, and let me break open one so that you can see how they look inside. Now if you want to experiment further and want to just get colorful idlis without any vegetable texture, you can also use natural beetroot powder for pink idlis, blue butterfly pea powder for soft blue tone, and a pinch of turmeric for a gentle yellow. Just make sure that they are food grade and use in moderation. If you enjoy my way of explaining in details the recipe that I make, and if it helps you get started, then you might want to check my online courses. You can find them on our website. The link is in the description below. Now let's make the peanut chutney. If you have peanut allergy, you can also replace peanuts with sunflower seeds or toasted pumpkin seeds, or even with fresh coconut. Rest other ingredients can remain the same. Start with 1 Kashmiri red chili and split it open to remove the seeds. Soak it in a little warm water to soften it. This chili is mainly for color. The more you add, the brighter red your chutney will be. And because we have removed the seeds, the heat will also be milder. Soak about half a tablespoon of tamarind as well, and if you don't have tamarind, you can use lemon juice or kokum. While you soak this, roast half a cup of peanuts on low heat. Stir continuously so that they do not burn. You need to roast it until it's fragrant and the skin begins to loosen. How do you know when it's ready? Well, taste one, and it should be deeply nutty without the raw, oily aftertaste. Now into a blender, add the toasted peanuts, a small clove of garlic, 1 teaspoon of chopped ginger, 4 to 5 curry leaves, add the soaked Kashmiri red chili. Now take the tamarind that we had soaked and press it gently to remove the seeds and any other hard bits from it. Add this tamarind along with its soaking water. If you want it spicy, you can add 1 mild green chili. Add half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of sugar, and about a 1/4 cup of water. Blend into a smooth fine paste and add water gradually if at all it's needed. It should not be a thick sauce and it should not also be very runny. Once done, pour it into a nice bowl and you can do an optional tempering here. Heat 1 teaspoon of oil in a small tempering pan, and coconut oil or ghee will work the best here. Add 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds, 1 broken red chili, a few curry leaves, and when the mustard seed starts to crackle, add a quarter teaspoon of hing and immediately switch off the flame. Pour this over the chutney and your chutney is ready. It also even looks nice after the tempering is done. Idli has to be enjoyed with some kind of a chutney and sambar, and not the tiny spoonful that I'm showing here. A generous serving of sambar makes it a complete balanced meal that can truly fuel your body for the day. Now, one important thing to understand here is that idlis do not have any probiotic effect after steaming because the heat destroys the live bacteria. But fermentation still offers powerful benefits. They're easier to digest, lighter on the stomach, and better absorbed by the body. It also lowers the anti-nutrients like phytic acid. The fermentation process breaks down complex compounds, making nutrients more bioavailable. I hope you have enjoyed this step-by-step guide to making traditional idlis, and this is just the beginning. Idlis can also be made with other lentils, different millets, and you can come up with many creative variations. Thank you for watching and for the positive, supportive comments you always give, and I will see you soon in the next video.